everyone, CFL Park Hopper here at Universal Orlando. And today we're going to talk about some things to consider when planning your next trip. So I'm standing here in Islands of Adventure. You can see the new Velocicoaster behind me. It just opened this last summer of 2021. So if you're planning a trip here in 2022 and you're a thrill seeker, you can ride it. I'm going to show you what they offer here at Islands of Adventure, as well as what they offer at Universal Studios and the rest of the resort. And we're going to talk about some things you got to do for planning that next trip. Let's go. All right, so here's the front view. There goes Velocicoaster. It's a really fun ride. Now, if you can see the castle right over here, that is Hogwarts Castle from Harry Potter. And Harry Potter is housed in both theme parks, Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios. And some people don't really know that. So we're going to talk today about how to plan your trip so that you can see all of Harry Potter. Over here is the Hulk coaster, Incredible Hulk. So let's walk around and see what else they have to offer here. All right, so we are now standing in Marvel Superhero Island. The Hulk entrance is behind us, it's over here. And also in this area, they have the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man ride, which is coming up right over here on our left. This ride's amazing. It's so funny, it's like 20 years old, but the ride technology is still some of the coolest that I've ever seen in a theme park. They also have Dr. Doom's Fearfall here, which is a drop top. All right, so we're now in Toon Lagoon, which has some of the best water rides in all of Orlando. This is Popeye's Bilge Rat Barges, which is a river raft ride. And no one is on it right now. It is super cold today. It's only like 60 degrees and it's windy. But you will get absolutely soaked on this. So this is a ton of fun to ride when it's hot out, which is, you know, most of the time here in Orlando. And a lot of times when I come to ride the water rides here at Universal, I plan to bring flip-flops and close that dry quickly because these rides will leave you soaked. Let me show you what else they offer. And this is Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls. This is a log flume. Also, you will get absolutely soaked on this. So, again, plan for water on these water rides. We have now made it to Kong Skull Island, which is a pretty creepy ride where you ride through and find the Legend of Kong. So it's a pretty fun ride though. If you haven't noticed so far, here at Islands of Adventure, most of the rides are more on the thrilling side. They are for, you know, maybe a little bit of older kids. A lot of them have height requirements of 48 inches or higher. Some are smaller, like I think Spider-Man, like I showed you earlier, I think you can get on that for like 40 inches, and I think the same for Popeye. But I'm not sure about a lot of the other ones. So younger children, there's not going to be a ton for them to do, but I'll show you some things that young kids can do as well. This over here, this tall building is the Jurassic Park River Adventure. It is under annual refurbishment at the moment, but it is a riverboat journey through the dinosaurs. It's a lot of fun. And over here is Camp Jurassic. Now this is an area for young kids. There's all kinds of places for them to climb and explore. And there is a ride up above up here called the Pteranodon Flyers, and you can only be, I think maybe like at the most 50 or 54 inches to ride this. Maybe it's 48 even. So this is more for young kids, and adults can ride it if they have a young rider to go along with them. Let me see when a ride vehicle passes so you can see it. And here it comes. And there it goes. So that's Pteranodon Flyer. So we have now made it to the Hogsmeade side of Islands of Adventure. This is the Harry Potter section. And there is the castle up close. And inside that castle is a ride, Forbidden Journey. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, I should say. They also have a kiddie coaster over here, Flight of the Hippogriff. And they have one of the most popular rides in all of Universal, if not the most popular ride, I should say, in this area.
Thank you for visiting.
This is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. It's a super fun roller coaster where you get to ride either on the actual motorbike or in the sidecar. And this is the most popular ride, I would say, here at Universal. So you're definitely going to want to plan this into your trip when you come. There they go. All right, we've made it to the final area here at Islands of Adventure. This is Seuss Landing. And this is by far the most kid-friendly area. They have all kinds of Seuss things in the stores. They have a restaurant. They have rides like this trolley ride in the sky. They have the Cat in the Hat ride, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Lots of great stuff for families in this area. So now we're gonna head over to Universal Studios and see what they have to offer. All right, now that we've seen the whole side of Islands of Adventure, we're now gonna park hop over to Universal Studios. And there's two ways you can do this. One, you could just walk out the main entrance and back on over to the other side and go in the other park. Or you can ride the Hogsmeade Express over to the Harry Potter side at Universal Studios in Diagon Alley. And if you're a Harry Potter fan, this is how you're going to want to travel between the two parks, because each side of the train is a different experience. So now as we go over to the studios, we're really going to talk about how many days should I spend at Universal. So I would suggest you need at least 2 for the theme parks, you know, for sure. And I like to get park hopping tickets because park hopping tickets, 1, is the only way you can ride the train, but 2, I find that it's fun to kind of go back and forth between the 2 parks in each day, and you don't really need to spend all day in one park. It's easier to go back and forth and ride some stuff at each park. So I would consider getting the park hopping pass between the 2 parks if you can, and spend at least 2 days here. But there's other things you might want to consider, and you might want to make your trip longer, so keep watching. All right, so we stopped out here on the City Walk on our way over to the Universal Studios side, because there's some more things you got to consider besides just the 2 theme parks. They also have the water park Volcano Bay, which is an amazing water park. It is state of the art. I believe it's closed today, so the high is only 60, but normally it is open year round, and there's a lot of warm days in the winter. But I find myself at this water park a good 6 months out of the year, April to October for sure, when it is warm out. It's a just amazing water park. You don't have to carry rafts. They have raft elevators, and they do virtual queue for all the rides. So you get a Tapu Tapu wristband when you come into the park, and you tap to put yourself in virtual queues to wait in the lines. So it's a great way to be and experience the water park without having to wait in line. The rest of the day you can be like at the wave pool like we're seeing here in this picture, or in their lazy river or rapid river, or eating. They have really good food at this water park as well. And then here on the City Walk, there's all kinds of restaurants like Toothsome Chocolate Factory and Hard Rock Cafe. And over here is Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville and Big Fire Grill. So there's lots of things to do here on the City Walk as well. So again, I said you probably need 2 days of just theme parks. If you want to be here and do the water park as well, and just take in the resorts and everything the Universal's property has to offer, I would do a 4-day vacation here. And as you can see directly across from us, that is the Hard Rock Hotel. I'm going to zoom in a little better. And it's really close to the entrance to Universal Studios. You can walk there. You can also ride these boats. There's boats here. And past the Hard Rock Hotel, down that way, is the Portofino Hotel. And on this side of the lagoon, over here, straight in front of us, is the Royal Pacific Hotel. And beyond that is Sapphire Falls and Cabana Bay and Aventura Hotel. And across the road from Universal are the Dockside Inn & Suites and the Surfside. So Universal has several hotels to choose from as well. So we're going to go into the studios, and I'm going to show you again what they have to offer. And we're going to talk about what kind of hotel you might want to choose if you're coming here on vacation, and some other things like that. So let's go in. All right, so we made it inside the Studios park, and the Studios has many more rides that are indoors. More like 3D simulators like this Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. This is a 3D simulator ride. And I'll show you some more as we go around. Now they do have one outdoor roller coaster on this side, the Rip Ride Rocket. And then, like I said, they have everything else is indoors, and they have a couple of indoor roller coasters. All right, so they have the Revenge of the Mummy, which is currently under refurbishment for the first half of 2022. I don't believe it's going to open till late summer, they're saying. So keep this in mind, but this is an indoor roller coaster in the dark. It's a ton of fun. So if you're coming the second half of 2022 or into 2023, this will be back open. All right, so over here is Transformers the ride. This is similar to the ride technology that's in the Spider-Man ride over at Islands of Adventure. It is in 3D, but it's a moving ride vehicle. It's pretty cool. Over here is Minion Black, straight ahead. This is one of my favorite rides. It is a dark ride, but it's an action dark ride where you get to use laser guns in your ride vehicle to shoot at the aliens and try to unlock the suit and be part of the Minion Black. So I do enjoy this ride. It's pretty competitive. And over here, this blue building, this is Simpsons. This is another motion simulator ride. It is not in 3D, but it's a motion simulator. And the reason why I'm pointing out that a lot of the rides on the studio side are motion simulator is because I know that a lot of people do get motion for when you're planning your trip, so as well. All right, and this is King's Cross Station. This is the other train entrance for Harry Potter. We are at the London waterfront right now, because this side of Harry Potter, in the Universal Studios side is Diagon Alley, which, if you've seen the movies, is inside of London. So I can ride the train here and get back to the Hogsmeade side, which I showed you a little bit ago at Islands of Adventure. But let's head on into Diagon Alley. And it could be very easy to miss this because this is what you see from the outside, and if you just keep walking down the road, you're gonna pass it right by and not even know it. So to get into Diagon Alley, I go under the red arches, through the bricks, just like in the movie. Here we are, inside Diagon Alley. And this place is super cool and detailed. They have the Weasley's Wizarding Wheezes, where you can get all kinds of stuff, all kinds of jokey stuff. There's the dragon. They have Gringotts Bank, the ride in here. This is another indoor coaster, but it is super cool. It is also in 3D because there are screens in here. The ride technology is just phenomenal. So I would say, if you're comparing Islands to Studios, which side is more kid-friendly ride-wise? I probably would say the studio side. I think more things are more in the 40 inches to 50 inches range, where at Islands it's probably more 48 inches to 56 inches for the majority of things. So keep that in mind while planning your trip as well. You can get wands here at Ollivanders, and you could get wands on the other side too at the Hogsmeade section where we were at Islands. All right, so we made it to the final section of the park. This is the E.T. ride, which is the last original ride left here at Universal Studios. This park opened in 1990, and so this ride has been here since the park opened in 1990. So pretty cool. And back over here is a lot of the kid. And if you have young children coming to Universal and you've been looking around at all these rides, going, they're not going to make the height requirements. This area is Fievel's Playland. I was a huge fan of Fievel as a kid. Kids today, I don't know if they even know who Fievel is, but he's got a pretty cool playland around here. He even has a water slide over here that you can ride. That's pretty fun. You ride in a mat and you stay pretty dry. I'd say only like your pants get wet, but I don't know if anybody's going on it today in this colder weather. They also have the DreamWorks destination back here, where you can do meet and greets with a lot of your DreamWorks characters that are your friends and pals, like Kung Fu Panda, Shrek, Madagascar, the Trolls. So you just kind of head in and get to experience all of this. And over here they have the Woody Woodpecker kiddie coaster. So that's pretty cool. And the Curious George play area as well. So lots of great stuff back here for the kids to do at Universal Studios. So now that we've seen all that the two Universal theme parks have to offer, and we've talked a little bit about City Walk and Volcano Bay, hopefully you're starting to gear up in your mind based on what you've seen, how many days you would like to come here on vacation. So let's talk about some possibilities as far as how you could tour the parks. Universal offers something called Express Pass, which is their version of the quick way to get onto rides. But it is a very pricey item to get. So if you just want to buy Express Pass for the day, it will let you onto all of the rides in the park for the day. You can get it for one park if you're going to one park, or if you're gonna park hop, like I highly suggest, you can get it for both. But I'm gonna tell you, for one day of Express Pass per person is gonna be between $200 and $300 based on the day that you're coming to the parks. So it's very expensive. However, the top 3 hotels do offer and include Express Pass with your resort stay. So Hard Rock Hotel, Portofino Bay, and the Royal Pacific all offer it with their hotel stay. So I would get online to the Universal Orlando website. I'd check out the hotels, check out the prices for when you're gonna come, and see if it would be cheaper just to do a hotel stay and get your Express Pass included versus buying it outright per day for your trip. Now, I would say to consider these things if you're going to get Express Pass. If you're coming on a very busy holiday week, like the 2 weeks of Christmas, like Christmas into New Year's, Thanksgiving break, if you're coming on a busy spring break week, summertime, especially like 4th of July, and usually most of July is really busy, then yes, I would consider Express Pass, especially if you're here a less amount of days. If you're looking at coming maybe for a full week on a Universal trip, you won't really need Express Pass. You'll have enough time to kind of see and do things at your leisure if you're coming for 7 days. If you're coming for that optimal 4 days, like I mentioned earlier, if you're planning to spend 2 full days in theme parks, 1 day at a water park, and maybe 1 day just resting and relaxing at the hotel, then I think you might need Express Pass, unless you're coming in the off season. If you're gonna utilize all 4 of those days to visit the theme parks and the water park and interchange them with park hopper and such like that, and just getting, you know, enough tickets for the length of your stay, then you may not necessarily need Express Pass, again, depending on the time of year you're coming. If you're only gonna come to the theme parks for 2 days, and you're gonna do 1 park a day, or even park hop, but only be in the parks for 2 days, I would consider Express Pass. And I would get it by staying at the hotels. So here's the cool thing to think about. If I check in to the Hard Rock Hotel on a Monday, my Express Pass is good for that Monday. And if I check out on Tuesday, the very next day, it's good for that whole day too. So if I'm gonna do 2 full days in the park and I get to my hotel at 7 a.m. to check in, I can get there, check in, leave my bags. Even if my room isn't ready, they'll give me my Express Passes and I can come to the parks. And I can then spend 2 full days in the park, even though I'm only sleeping 1 night. So there are ways to do and see this place in 2 days with Express Pass, and it's a little more affordable then. Well, let's say you decide, I don't really need the Express Pass, we're coming for a longer amount of time, but I would like to stay on property. Then I would definitely check out the different resorts on the Universal website and see which one is best for you and your family based on size of the resort, what you're going to need for accommodations, the theming of the resort, what you're interested in having for a theme, pools, restaurants, that sort of thing. The transportation to the parks, like I said, some of them do offer the boat service like we saw at the City Walk. However, some are going to offer only bus service depending on where they're located. So looking at the resort hotels on the website is really going to help you decide that, and based on price too, because there are different tiers of prices for all of those resorts. Well, everyone, I hope I gave you some good things to think about when planning your next Universal trip. Number 1, how many days do you want to come? And that's really going to be based off what you want to see and do while you're here. Number 2, where should I stay? If you're going to stay on property, which I highly recommend because then you're close to everything, do I want a hotel with Express Pass or do I not? And 3 is determining, do I want Express Pass, I guess, also interchanged in that. Is that going to be worth it for my trip? Hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new video, which is usually once a week. On social media like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, CFL Park Hopper on all 3. Thanks for watching.